At the beginning of the film, Andrea is introduced as an international swimmer with a promising future. She must win this competition to make it to the finals, but she is under a lot of pressure. Despite this, she tries her best to stay calm and dive in with focus. When the race starts, Andrea dives into the water with graceful movement. After finishing, she goes to her coach, Jen, who praises her for her excellent performance. When the results are announced, Andrea's name appears at the top of the scoreboard as the first-place winner. This victory fills her family with pride and joy. Andrea receives the gold medal and smiles at the camera that Adam is holding. After the photos are taken, Andrea showers and gets ready to leave. Meanwhile, Jen reminds her once again to take her training more seriously, as the next competition will be in Madrid and she needs to be ready to beat her rivals. However, Andrea reminds Jen that her injury is still troubling her and she doesn't want to push herself too hard. After saying goodbye to her family, Andrea returns to the dorm with her younger sister, Lucia. Lucia is also a swimmer, but unlike Andrea, she's under less pressure from the family. Their parents constantly talk about Andrea's achievements, but despite living in her sister's shadow, Lucia still loves her dearly. The next day, after practice, Andrea returns to the dorm exhausted and wanting to rest. But she discovers that Lucia has thrown a small party with her friends. Without complaining, Andrea grabs her food and goes to her room, eating alone while staring at the little fish in her aquarium. In that instant, Adam, one of Lucia's friends, accidentally enters Andrea's room. Andrea is startled and asks why he came into her room. Embarrassed, Adam explains that he was looking for the bathroom and accidentally opened the wrong door. Adam then starts a conversation with Andrea. When he notices her fish, he excitedly says that he also loves that type of fish. This shared interest makes their conversation last longer, and gradually, the spark of a new relationship begins to form between them. Andrea quickly gets ready to go to the pool with Adam for practice. When they arrive, Andrea immediately changes into her swimsuit and dives into the water. Adam, thrilled by the opportunity, starts taking pictures of her movements. Andrea, enjoying the attention, strikes graceful poses, letting him capture some great shots. After practice, they start talking, but their conversation gradually becomes more intimate, and eventually, they embrace each other. The next morning, Andrea goes for a run before swimming practice, then returns to the pool to train with her team. However, exhaustion from staying up late causes her performance to drop. Her coach, Jen, gets angry, frustrated that Andrea isn't taking care of her health. In that instant, Andrea's parents walk into the facility. Surprised and anxious to see them, Andrea tries to keep her composure. Meanwhile, Lucia, Andrea's younger sister, becomes upset after witnessing her sister's closeness with Adam. Andrea explains that they only took pictures the night before, but Lucia believes she's lying. During practice, stressed out by her emotions, Lucia makes a mistake in her routine and faces harsh criticism from Jen. Strangely enough, Andrea ends up making the same mistake, further fueling their coach's anger. After practice, their parents take them home. The atmosphere is tense, and Andrea feels suffocated by the weight of expectations and the pressure of the upcoming competition. On the day of the competition, despite her overwhelming anxiety, Andrea tries to stay calm. But at the crucial moment, she loses focus and dives with poor technique. The mistake leads to a serious accident. Andrea fractures her spine and is immediately rushed to the hospital. The hospital fills with silence and sorrow, as Andrea not only loses the competition but also jeopardizes her health. Weeks later, as Andrea's condition slightly improves, she returns home. But her mental state is shattered. She feels like her life is over. She constantly hears her parents arguing, worried about her future. During one of her medical checkups, the doctor delivers devastating news. Her spinal injury is so severe that she can never return to professional sports. Andrea is shocked and furious, sinking deeper into despair. Even Jen, her coach, advises her not to return to training. Forced to leave sports behind, Andrea takes a job as a cashier at a store to cover her living expenses. At first, the job feels unbearable, but over time, she adapts. She comes home exhausted at night, with Lucia trying her best to lift her spirits. One day, completely by chance, Andrea runs into Adam again. Both are delighted to see each other, and their relationship rekindles. Andrea starts spending more time with him, sometimes even staying over at his house, something that sparks concern and curiosity in Lucia. Until one day, Andrea accidentally discovers a secret about Adam. When she asks him what he does for work, Adam confesses that he's a director of adult films. Feeling disconnected from her old life and convinced she has nothing left to lose, Andrea asks Adam to help her enter the industry. Adam hesitates at first, but eventually agrees, and Andrea gradually becomes an actress. She even bonds with her co-worker, Elena, and starts enjoying her new career. But things aren't that simple. When Adam sees Andrea in scenes with her other co-stars, jealousy eats away at him, straining their relationship. He asks Andrea to reconsider her path, but now that she finally feels free and independent, she refuses to step back. 3 the next morning, Andrea is warmly welcomed by her colleagues, and everyone is excited to see the new rising star. In the next scene, Andrea sees Adam at a party and approaches him. However, Adam treats her coldly and distances himself, still upset with her. His behavior deeply hurts Andrea. When she returns to the dorm, Lucia notices her sister's unusual behavior. Although Andrea tries to hide everything, Lucia already knows the truth. She had been bullied at school because of Andrea's job. A few days later, Andrea has a photo shoot for a magazine and then participates in an interview. After work, she decides to go home, but the atmosphere is cold and tense. Her father and Lucia cannot accept Andrea's career, while her mother, fascinated by Andrea's wealth and success, continues to support her. One night, Andrea follows her father to the living room to talk, but their conversation quickly turns into an argument. The next day, her mother still visits Andrea and takes her out for shopping and luxurious activities. Her mother is proud of her daughter's success. However, while they're sitting in a cafe, Lucia unexpectedly walks in. Seeing her sister surrounded by men offering her other job opportunities makes Lucia even more upset, and she storms out of the cafe. When Andrea chases after her, she suddenly experiences a severe headache, and they have to return home. Days pass, and despite her physical weakness, Andrea continues working. During one of the filming sessions, she looks extremely exhausted. Although she tries to stay professional, she suddenly vomits and collapses on the floor, unconscious. Everyone panics and rushes her to the hospital. When the doctor enters the room, he delivers devastating news. Andrea has a brain tumor. The diagnosis shatters her, and she breaks down in tears in her hospital bed. Elena stays by her side all night until Lucia comes to visit her sister in the morning. Seeing Andrea in such a fragile state softens Lucia's heart, and she returns to being the loving sister she once was. They talk for hours, and Andrea asks Lucia to shave her head. Lucia does it tenderly, and afterward, she tries to cheer her sister up by placing a pink wig on her head. Their father, who had once been furious about Andrea's career, starts visiting her regularly. Her mother, shocked by Andrea's condition, also stays by her side. Yet, despite everyone's support, Andrea's illness progresses rapidly. Finally, on December 9th, 2004, Andrea Absolanova passes away at Bielovka Hospital in Prague at the age of 27 due to a brain tumor.